Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. There we go. I'm from the Energy Institute, and one of our goals is to bring together expertise for our urgent global challenges. What are we? What is the Energy Institute? Well, it's basically a professional membership organization. The lady on the screen there is Louise Kingham, OB and a fellow of the Institute, and she's our chief executive. And as we have a lady chief executive, it is very nice to look around the room and see so many ladies in this room and participating. A few years ago, it would have been a room full of men, I'm sure. But it's great to see that here today. And Louise is a great standard bearer for having women involved in the energy sector. So basically, we're a professional body for the global energy industry. We have about 20,000 individual members around the world and 250 corporate members, companies, of which about 50 plus are already represented here in the Middle East. And those companies range from major people like Saudi Aramco, Enoch, ADNOC, et cetera, and various other energy-related companies, down to very, very small companies with maybe 10 or 20 employees. But this is me. I've had 47 years of experience, which is quite a long time. The organization, the Energy Institute, is 100 years old. Not me personally, though I sometimes feel like that on some days. And Dr. Wada Ghanem is our honorary chairman, and he's one of the executive directors of Enoch, and a very great standard bearer for sustainability. In the same bracket as Dr. Rashid Alim, he's very happy to talk about sustainability all day long. What do? We basically, our fundamental things are knowledge, skills, and good practice. We have something like 90,000 to 100,000 technical resources which are available to our members. And we do ongoing research with our technical partners to continually update that. We have something like 400 committees that run every year, talking about the latest issues. We obviously support our members and individual members with skills development, and we develop good practice. Many of the standards that people in the room will be using for the energy sector as a whole have been developed by us, and that's one of our major things. Is that we're an independent, not-for-profit organization. We're actually run as a charity. Our headquarters are in London, and we are able, because of that, we're not a consulting company, et cetera, we're able to bridge that gap between the government, between industry, between the academe, and get everybody around a table and talk about the things that are important. This is our current president of the Energy Institute, Steve Holliday, and he recently made a speech talking about the road to Glasgow, Glasgow being the location of COP26 this year, later this year. And he's very, very strong. He said, there is a climate emergency, and we must remove the greenhouse gas emissions from the global energy system as quickly as possible. And by we, he doesn't just mean we, the Energy Institute, he means all of us. That's industry, individuals, technologies, governments, et cetera. But it's not the amount of energy we use today that needs to be cleaned up. Global demand continues to grow, and some of the preceding speakers have said basically the same thing. The frightening thing is the numbers. When you talk about so many percentages being added by 2030, that's only 10 years ago. 10 years ago. So what can we do about it? It's very, very complex. The energy sector is very complex. And we started off as the Energy Institute, basically looking at fundamental things in the oil and gas industry. And this year we've made a significant quantum change. Obviously, we support things that go on in the oil and gas industry, but we're making sure that the things we do basically add up and move towards saving energy in one form or another. And those ideas have been developed in conjunction with our technical partners, with our council, with our members. Okay, so the three pillars we want are recognition, emergency, and response, and what is the EI's role in that? Recognition, basically, we have to see that There are so many diverse technologies that are available to us, but we have to recognize the ones that we can use and see how we can do that. There's many, many ingenious people in the industry who've got us to the stage where we are now. And it's really interesting, and I often tell, we have a thing called Learning Affiliates Program. We guide people from undergraduates through to their professional membership. And there's been a bit of a turn down, if you like, in graduates wanting to go into the oil and gas industry, into the energy sector, because they see it as bad. We're the bad guys. But what I've said to them is basically, don't bite the hand that feeds you. Change what it's going to feed you. And they have a fantastic opportunity, those people coming in, to change things and be part of that, rather than just grumble about it and have demonstrations and such. So there is an emergency, a climate emergency, despite what one certain President Trump seems to think. He's probably the only person around that won't admit it. But we've got a problem. I mean, they're talking about trying to get 1.5 degrees centigrade, and already we're having a problem with getting to 2 degrees centigrade. So we really need to look at the commitments that everybody's making as you come to the next level of Paris, from the Paris Agreement. We're talking about sustainable development goals, and number 7 is to ensure access to affordable, reliable, and sustainable and modern energy by 2030. And that's, again, it's only 10 years away, and that's kind of frightening, yeah? And this statistic right at the bottom there is the IEA foresees global energy demand growing by 25% by 2040. Some of the preceding speakers think it may be even more. And we don't know, but it's going to grow. And it's a significant. It's not 1%, 2%. It's in the 20s to 30s. So we can't view those challenges independently. We need to protect the planet, and we need more cleaner and better managed energy, and we need it very fast.